good energy.
Yeah, yeah. No, it keeps you sharp. It does keep you sharp. It um, protects you from that mental fog. I personally experience a lot of it whenever I eat. I don't know about everyone else, but yeah, it keeps you sharp. But maybe they're not drinking water part. It's slightly challenging, but yeah, alhamdulillah, it's easy. It's very very easy, and it's going very very quick this year. I don't know if everyone else agrees with that or not, but to be honest, I feel like it has impacted a lot of people's work. And I think 4 people have filled in their Friday check-ins, but there are good check-ins. Quite a few people got their first clients. Suleiman got a client for £500. I think that's about 750, 800 Canadian. Um, then there was who else? Then Myra got a 1,750 and a 1,200 client. So a solid day yesterday. She's on the group call. And anyone else, Samira, that might be forgetting? Oh, Myra is here. No, that's Maria. Apologies. Yeah, Samira, is there any?
Ayman. Ayman.
Oh yeah, Eamon. Eamon got a client as well. So 3 people got clients. Productive week. But action steps wise, maybe people are getting used to it. So I think we already sent you a point of discussion for this week's group call, Ryan. So I'd like to take over.
Yep, perfect. Well, hello everybody. Sabina, Ifakar, Samira, Maria, Saad, how are you all? I'm going to just ask for some participation from you. Now, I won't expect you to open your mics, but if you can get ready to type, I want to ask you some questions because I think it's better if we kind of work this as a group. Because one thing that again comes up a lot, especially in these early stages, is that fear of failure, that fear of doing, that fear of becoming. And just by starting off with this now, what I'm hoping by the end of it, you guys will understand the actions you've got to take, and it will not be as complicated as it feels potentially right now. As you've seen as well with what Arzam said, students already in this group following the exact same process that you're following, signing clients, getting more wins, building more momentum. So if you haven't yet got your first client, you're probably almost there if you're following the actions. But one thing that comes up is fear. So just raise your hand for now, or I think, press the raise hand button or a thumbs up, whatever's easier. If at any point at all you've ever felt fearful or doubted yourself with going to do whatever you were planning to do. Anyone felt that? Saad, Maria, Bina, yeah. And there might just quickly, if there's any example you guys have got from where you had that come up before, like what is it that you faced? For me, years ago, I was going to have to go talk on stage, and I remember I was terrified of fumbling it, nervous as anything, sweaty and panicking, and then I just had to suck it up and get on with it. But at the time, my fear was that I wouldn't be able to speak publicly and get up on the stage. As soon as I did it and came off, you then get rid of the emotion. You go, that was simple. Arzam, do you have a quick example where, again, you've been doubtful of your abilities or fearful, and then you've just gone and done it, and then ultimately seen?
No, absolutely, I did. And I think you were someone that observed that firsthand when I started to work with you a couple of years back. I was really nervous. I had never ever done sales before, and I jumped straight into remember the accounting offer. It was like, how much was the deal? Like 5 to 20,000, if I'm not wrong. So yeah, it just went straight into not knowing anything about sales, right into doing it. So yeah, like it's just one of those things. I'm a big believer of just getting it done, taking the quantum leap, and just having trust in our ability as humans to be able to adapt. Because once we're put into that situation, once we're put into that environment, we naturally adapt to it. Like it's our brains. It has that feature that we adapt to it. So long story short, yes, Ryan, it was basically speaking to people in general that made me really nervous. And the solution that I found was just brute force. Get it done. It doesn't matter how I feel, and I'll eventually adapt to it.
Yeah, perfect. I love that example. And then anyone else got anything to type out? Bina, Ursa, Ifakar? Fearful of calling strangers. Great. And Ursa, what have you learned now from actually making those dials, do you still have that fear right now? Is that something you're facing right now, or is that something you've overcome? Everyone else has gone. You just type them out.
We were just
Overcome.
talking about it before this call. He's got a very good strategy that he's come up with. If Shah's willing to share it with us.
What's this winning strategy you've got? Absolutely. Anyone else type out as well any fears you've had that you've overcome?
Can you hear me, guys?
Yes.
Okay. So I'll tell you one thing that I learned is fear. In fact, through this exercise, it's called false expectations. I've heard this false expectations appearing real, and I know what it is. You have to start understanding that this is all false expectations because your mind is going crazy. That is, up to the phone, they're going to say something. They're going to start, I'm going to be, I can't do it. I don't know how to sell, how to speak, blah, 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 and all those things coming up real. But that's how your brain is conditioned. So you just start putting all those situations in your head, and you keep leaving the phone away. So there's a book that I read. I was thinking Arzam said it's called Fanatical Prospecting, and it's all in your head. You just have to sort of. And what I did was, I just took the emotions out. Completely just took the emotions out, and I picked up the phone number and I started calling them. There's another strategy I know has worked also, that assuming that you're going to get $1 for every call. I know it's not there, but hypothetically speaking, that you're getting $1 for every call. So will you do it? Of course, I'll do it. If somebody's going to pay me $1 for every call, I'm going to pick up the phone and start calling. All the emotions are out of the window. So the one thing I did was just is no emotions. I think one thing in Arzam kept pointing out, and you have done is just being logical. Pick up the phone and start calling, and that was how I overcome all these fears. And very quickly, I'm just gonna say, I was doing a few other things, so I couldn't really give much effort. But 2 days ago, there's a business that I was deliberating on calling, and this was in that phase when I was being fearful. This Wednesday, I just picked up the phone and I called. The lady picked up, and we started talking, had a good chat, and then I booked a call for next week. So it's just, you have to get the emotions out, and everything else will fall in place. Some will not, some will, but it's just you'll get an experience with every call.
Yeah. I love that, and I like what you said there about, if you got $1 for each call that you dial, would you do it? And I think we'll break into that a little bit. I think fantastic. Appreciate you sharing that. And I think looking at that, imagine there is a monetary value attached to each call. Well, there actually is, isn't there? There actually is, because you have
Absolutely,
KPIs.
absolutely.
Yeah, you have KPIs that you guys are proven that if you do enough numbers, you'll get enough business. So if you actually divide that total figure you're going after and look at the calls you have to do, there is a value in each call. Now, taking it a bit then deeper than that is the compounding of you creating momentum. Because again, at the early stages where it feels a bit sluggish, you feel a bit fearful, feel a bit doubtful, the investment is even greater, because not only is it going to get you $1 amount after you've hit the KPI, there's also exponential growth you're going to be experiencing with how your character is going to be developing, how your vision will develop based on you have actually done that work. And then again, you'll see that fear shrink or non-exist. It will completely disappear. And again, as you've said as well, Ursa, you nailed it. It's all about just taking action. And it's even better when you start hearing that doubt, feeling that fear. The one best thing, the only best thing, get out of your head, because that is going to keep you stuck there longer than you want it to be. And it will stop everything, because nothing happens. You think it's happening, but nothing is. There's only an action you got to take, pick up the phone. And again, we can get fearful of strangers. And I'm sure a lot of you guys have felt a similar fear of what's going to happen when I pick up the phone? How are they going to react to me? What if I stutter? What if I don't explain it right? What if I do this and do that? That person is getting on with their life. They don't know anything about you. They don't care at the moment, and they don't need to. And equally with you, you just got to embrace the opportunity to connect with that person. And as you've seen, it opens up doors every time. And if you look at it even more to why it's really exciting when you should be feeling this fear, is everyone's going to be feeling it when they get started, because it's where they get stuck. And it's why most people end up staying in that arena for years and years and years and years and years and never move past it. They've got that comfort of what they think they know that's helped them to get to where they want to be. But one thing to remind yourselves as well is why did you all get started with this in the first place? You got given that vision of this path. You're on the path now. Do you want to go against that vision or actually pursue it fully? And sometimes it's just us realizing that we've got to pursue it fully, that we've actually been, excuse my French, but some of us times we could be half-arsing it. We could be making excuses for ourselves as we get in our head, and excuses sound best to those who make them up. We're the best at excuse making. We really are. It's just a great human condition. I think I could do it for this reason. It was a bit cold. It was a bit rainy. I felt a bit this. I had a bit of that. The dog barked. This happened. We can make up all the excuses. We've all done it. Been there as well. We can always make that reason to why it sounds great, to why we couldn't do it. But at the end of it, it doesn't matter, does it? No one cares. And that is then where it comes back to us, is that we know deep down that we've not been sincere to ourselves either. And then we get more into our head, and then we take less action, and then we get more in our head. And so again, the big resolve to it all is just embracing that you're going to feel it, but the feeling is just that. It's a feeling. It's not reality. Because if you could take yourself out of your head and just observe yourself sitting there at the desk or looking at the phone, you'd be like, oh, there's nothing wrong there. What's wrong there? You got Wi-Fi, you got signal, you got your battery's charged, you've got your script in front of you, you've got everything you need. So it's going, okay, well, what's wrong? Nothing. And sometimes we just need that reality check within ourselves to slap ourselves out of it and go, I've got too stuck in here again. Because as we know, it protects us in one way, that it's trying to protect our ego a bit. This idea that we've got of who we are and what we are. Where in fact, we're always here to learn and grow. We're not fixed in position, are we? We're always going to learn and grow. 5 years ago, 10 years ago, I guarantee each and every one of you were not the same person you are today. And great, because we're not meant to be. We're meant to keep evolving and meant to keep growing. And, in this business world, it's going to teach you things that are going to evolve you and ultimately grow you. But that's then where you hear that opportunity for growth. It comes knocking every day. But it's then we trick that and go, I'm scared. What if this? What if that? And we give the opportunity away. And the more we keep giving the opportunity away, it won't stay around forever. Because eventually you'll come to a point where you'll believe it's gone. And to bring yourself back out of that point is very, very difficult. If you then look at what you've achieved so far, and if you've not done the numbers, you've not sent the emails, you've not made the calls, you've not done the research, you're then going to see that as a reason to why you can't continue. But in fact, it was all because of staying in here for too long. And again, sometimes it's the harsh reality of it. We get too much in our heads. I know, Arzam, you've probably seen it working with students. I've seen it working with new team members all the time, and even existing ones. But every time it seems to be the action is the fixer to all of this. Actually, just following.
Like an interesting thing that I'd like to share with all of you guys, because you have to remember, at every stage, people are, they have that lack of confidence. People are nervous. It doesn't matter what stage of life you're at. You're always going to be nervous about something. And, motivational speakers and, even you might hear myself or even the great advice that Ryan gives every single week, saying that you have to do things like take an action or just be resilient or just get it done, etc. Now, these are advices that, okay, get the end goal done. But what do you do in that moment when you're really nervous and you're just inside your head? What exactly do you do? And I was thinking about this yesterday, and I'd like to analyze things and come up with mental frameworks to come up with. And when the moment comes, I actually get it done, because learning is same situation, new behavior. Not learning is same situation and keep doing the same thing and you keep getting the same result. But what I want to do always is come up with mental frameworks that will allow me to have a different behavior in the same situation. So long story short, what I came up with, and I actually asked ChatGPT, there's basically a feature where you can speak to it and really have a proper discussion. So I analyzed it and I dug deep into it. And this ChatGPT said that a good technique should be, whenever you're getting intrusive thoughts or whenever you're getting too much inside your head, is come up with an anchor. Come up with an anchor to snap out of it, which could be, it was giving suggestions like do push-ups. And I challenged it for it. I was like, what? So every time I get an intrusive thought, you want me to stand up I get out where I'm sitting down and then just start doing push-ups. It's not realistic. Give me a bit more of a realistic thing that I can do whenever I'm too much inside my head or maybe getting too many intrusive thoughts. And again, yeah, very good suggestion. Focus on your breath. Now, to go more specific into that, focus on just one nostril, like, just breathing in and out with one nostril, just focusing on that and doing that 4 or 5 times. So take that as an amper, snap out of the overthinking that you're doing. And every time you get an intrusive thought, keep doing that. So eventually it comes to a point where it becomes second nature, that every time you are overthinking, you do that anchor and then you snap out of it. So you just build up that muscle, you can call it, to then every time you overthink, you do that anchor of focusing on your nostril or whatever is the anchor for you to snap out of it very, very quickly. I think Samira said something. What did she say? It's like, yeah, it's a completely different action. Yeah, and basically just snaps out of the overthinking, and then you're back in the moment, and then get back to doing what you want to.
Yeah, brilliant. I think a really good example. And again, sometimes it's going to be trial and error for all of you on how you find your particular path. Again, using those sort of meditative techniques and focusing on something that anchors you works extremely well for a lot of people. Don't doubt it until you've actually tried it. This is the other thing. If you've got that train of thought running, you can sometimes be resistant to trying new things. And you've got to remember that is not a favorable voice to be listening to, because it's not going to ultimately end in the result that you want. Embrace and keep an open mind. And it's interesting, keep a good sense of humor, because we can get so serious and so, just so much in our head that we forget to just actually take a big zoom out and look at it. Just have a bit of a laugh. Don't beat yourself up so much, because you've got you to this last moment on earth, and you want to be nice to yourself at the same time. All right, don't have to be to the point where you're so strict and make it so unenjoyable that you take everything out of it. I have a mentor of mine, Jeff, that I've known since I was 17, and the guy was very successful in London, an executive that was making 6 figures every year for years and years and years. Now he goes and helps local businesses. Still at 63, he's 63, he's a granddad, and he still gets involved in helping businesses grow and develop. But he doesn't live this fast-paced life, and he also has a window cleaning business of all things. And he said to me, "Do you fancy coming out to do some knocking?" And hey, I then heard some doubt come up, like, "Oh, what's going to happen?" And I'm like, "Oh, I better embrace this now. I need to embrace this challenge." I knocked on some doors, and again, I even had I'll tell you now, like, I've been in sales for a long time now. I still have those things come in my head where I'm like, "Oh, what if they reject me? What if this and that?" And you go, "It's not realistic, is it? It doesn't make any sense. Like, it doesn't make sense. You know it doesn't make sense because you've done enough of it before to know it doesn't make sense." And I knocked on this one door, and this old gentleman opened the door. It ended up being like 85, and I said to him, I'm from XYZ Cleaning Services. Are you looking for a reliable, regular window cleaner? He goes, "No, this is what keeps me going." And we end up breaking into this conversation for a while, and he tells me about his life story in about 5-10 minutes. Crazy. How he lost his wife, his daughter, and loads of other things. And I felt really, quite sympathetic towards him. But he kept himself in strong pose throughout the whole conversation, and he wasn't a broken man by any stretch. And I go to him, "What was your secret then? Or what is your secret?" Exactly that. And he stopped and thought for a while. And he goes to me, he goes, "Always keep a smile on your face. The minute you stop smiling, they think they got you. So always keep a sense of humor and always keep smiling." And it was just such a direct, profound bit of perspective at the time, especially coming from someone in their mid-80s, when they've been through everything and more. And for him to have that life perspective and something that keeps him grounded in reality, I thought, well, that's something I want to share with you all as well. Because we can get so serious, we can get so strict, but also just keep a sense of humor. It's not bad sometimes poke and have a laugh with yourself and banter with it. You know what? Just laugh on the chin with it. If someone does get grumpy on the phone, make it, find a funny reason to why they were grumpy. If it eats at you so much and you're not happy with how it went, find a funny reason for why that person was grumpy. Maybe he overcooked his microwave meal and got annoyed. Who knows? Just something silly. We haven't got to get so serious all the time. I've been on that side as well myself, where we get so serious, we beat ourselves up, we get ourselves negative, and you've got to go, that doesn't compound to anything wonderful at the end of the day. It takes you down further. Have a laugh. Smile. And this is another thing with these activities that we do. Have a smile on your face, because you're doing this not to stay in this moment where you are today. I know we might focus on this immediate area of taking those actions and starting it, but that's not going to be there forever. That's a very short window for the bigger journey you guys are going on. And you've seen already with a lot of the students that have maybe taken more actions now, or just have been in the program longer, that the compound of them doing it, they've got the results, and you have all the ability in the world to do it as well. And you'll see around you in life people that aren't always necessarily most clever, best looking, or anything else in between. You know, people that are out of shape, and all these things that we could try and say, to be successful, you need to be this. Life will also show you that the people that you think don't fit that archetype can still be successful as well. And it all comes down to our attitude most of the time. It's our actual attitude and how we go out there in the world. You know, be the person that you would want to be around. You will naturally attract more people that would want to be around you. People will connect with you better. And it's this weird thing, like if we go in with these negative states, people can pick up on it. So don't give that energy out there. You're here for a reason. You set your vision, follow that vision, trust that vision. Keep a smile on your face at the same time. Like, I know it's maybe not the most logical of advice all the time, but keeping that sense of humor and having a smile on your face goes a long way in this world, because we're in a very small segment. Like if we look at the whole pie of the online world and the business world, we're in a tiny little slice of it. There's so much else that goes on outside of this laptop screen, this computer screen you're on. There's so much more that goes on behind the life of the business beyond you calling them up and emailing them. If you're generally there to help, and if you're there to help people and you're trying to add value, and ultimately you care about it, because it's another thing. You guys care enough, which is a good thing. You care because you want to get results. So you might have fear of, what if it doesn't work? What if I don't get the results? That means you care. There's a lot of people that don't care. They're just in it strictly for the money. They'll go and do the pitch, grab the money, not worry about fulfillment, and screw a lot of people over. I know you guys aren't about that. So look at it from another way as well, that your character is strong, you have the right intentions, and it helps so much having those perspectives as well. So I've got a bit of a ramble there, but
no, it was very good points that you made about energy and keeping your energy up. I always think to myself, what is the difference between myself and someone that is really not achieved anything in life?
Mm-hmm.
And I know a lot of people like that. It's just energy. They just don't do anything. You know, we have to understand this life is all about the practical action steps that we are doing that move us forward. Action is what moves us forward. And I'm a very, very logical person, naturally. So I like to understand, why should I be happy? Why should I be positive? Like, what the hell? Like, why should I listen to this wishy-washy stuff? Right? And one of the people we both know, and you actually introduced me to him, Myron, he really teaches things in an incredible way, like practical stuff that he teaches, laws, like laws that you can't deny, like gravity, right? And one of the laws is law of energy conservation, right? One of the physics principles. So basically, energy cannot be created. It's basically transferred from one thing to another. So for you to create a high energy result, like getting clients and moving forward in life, etc., you have to be the high energy person first. Like, interesting. Okay, fair enough. And he went a bit deeper into it, and he said, look, if you're a low energy person, like, I'll see if this works. I don't know if I can do it. Things like that. Just having a very judgmental way of looking at this business and doing the outbounds with it. It's not going to work for you. I can promise you it's not going to work, right? Yeah. But if you are the type of person, okay, I'm excited. I don't know what's going to happen. I have that apprehension. Will I be able to do it? But I'm still excited to take this action and move forward, and having positive expectations from Allah. In Islamically, whatever sort of expectations you have from Allah, that is exactly what you'll get. So basically reiterating that point in a different angle, that just have positive expectations of the future, which will energize you and allow you to take the action effectively.
It is so true. And just to go into that for the last few minutes we've got, it's I've looked at this in my life and gone, well, how have I managed to go to certain areas, meet certain people, build certain relationships with people that are mega successful, or go to these really interesting places and have random side questions I couldn't even begin to explain. And it all comes down to having that high energy, excitement, positive expectation on things. It really has. You end up being a magnet to others because most people are, oh, I'm trying this, that. No one wants to be around that. No one does. And then when we get in those moments, we don't want to be around ourselves in that moment. Who wants to? Because when we look at it again, snap out of it, and we look at, well, look, life's short. We don't know how long we have, what we're going to do. But if we've got that mission, we've got that vision, pursue it with all the right energy, because all the right energy will come back. There's only two paths we can take: the positive one or the negative one. There's no in between. So with all the actions you take the positive mindset with the positive energy, because if not, you're only going to go down the negative one, the pessimistic one, the doubtful one, the fearful one. And I think we've all seen now where that one leads. Like, I don't know, does anyone know any successful person that is absolutely negative and awful to be around and actually has a fulfilled, exciting life that inspires us? Because I haven't met one yet. You guys might have. I don't know.
Absolutely not. You know, one thing specific to Muslims, and I'll share this after, you know, working with a lot of Muslims, is something we say, oh, if it's meant to be, I'll get it. I hate that statement so much. It's just a pet peeve of mine. What is wrong with you? Do you not live on this planet? If it's meant to be, I'll just land. If it's meant to be, I'll get the money. It's not going to land in your bank account all of a sudden. Like, it's just not going to happen. Let me just break that down for you, so you know, save a lot of time and mental energy, hoping that, you know, somehow something's going to land, you know, in your lap. No, I'm not, you know, refuting that there's no such thing as risk. And Ryan, risk is, how do I explain this? It's basically predestined things that we believe are already written for us, like food, the people we're going to marry, the money that we're going to get, etc. But it's a combination between a authentic hadith as well. You know, our Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, who said that tie the camel, then rely on Allah. And there's a story behind it where, long story short, this guy comes to our Prophet and says, is it okay if I just leave my camel untied and hopefully, you know, he'll be fine, he won't run away, no one's going to steal it, etc. But then he said, no, tie the camel, then you can rely on Allah that, okay, it's going to be fine because you've done your part. So a deeper meaning behind that is you have to do whatever you possibly can to make sure you actually get your risk, the thing that is already written for you. So nothing's just going to land in your lap. And risk, and again, Allah knows best, and I'm not a student of knowledge or anything like that, neither am I a scholar, but I know that risk is our, you know, our money, is our food, is the people we're going to marry, and a couple of other things as well. Now, let's just take a very silly example. Tonight, when we all break our fast, when we have that plate of rice in front of us, we're not just going to sit there and say, okay, yeah, the rice just come in my mouth. I'll just wait for it to just digest into my stomach. You have to do the intended action steps, pick up the spoon, eat the rice, and then digest your risk. So just like that, the intended way to get what we want right now is doing these action steps, which we've given to you right now, then in order to make this business work and get the money that you want. What you have right now currently in your life is a direct reflection of what you have done. So just look back at your life. If you've gone to, you know, the typical route of uni, then a job, etc., that's exactly why you have what you have. If you haven't gone to uni and you've just gone straight to a job, that's why you have what you have. But if you have done, you know, many courses in the past and gained a lot of knowledge and started businesses, that's why you have what you have. So it's all about action steps, what you have actually done to get the risk that you are predestined for. It's not going to just land in your life. But I really hope that hit for some people, because I hate it when people say, oh, if it's meant to be, I'll get it done, or it'll come to me. Stop it. Stop it. Like, that's not how it works. But yeah, any last thoughts, Ryan, before we end?
Yeah, no, I think you've nailed it. And no, you've nailed it so well. I think, yeah, just take on board all of that and just to reevaluate what you guys have done in the last few weeks. Because if you've got that fear still existing, you might be reluctant to still go in and take those actions. But remember that the moments you have now And what you're going through in this exact moment is a compound of the actions you either have or haven't done in those previous weeks. If life was that simple that we could just, in a moment, change our fortunes, it would be much easier. But those actions have to compound. So also just know there's going to be some of that time lag delay of when your character gets developed and you get building in towards it. So don't forget that time's going to still have to catch up with you, and things get realigned from you taking those actions. But ultimately, as Arzam said, take those actions, because staying just in here will never result in anything. And I know you're all aware of that. So yeah, I just wish you all the best of luck through the journey you're currently all on. And I know you can all do it. Just keep positive with the actions you take. Don't choose a negative one. Keep the optimistic one. Nothing wrong with being a bit cynical. I would say cynical optimism, but always have the positive direction, and keep that smile on your face. It's not as bad as you think it is. When you look at the opportunities that we've actually got presented to us and what we're able to achieve here, the alternative that a lot of people are in, people that haven't taken action. Look around you, you'll see it. And it's not pretty. Like, most people don't even get to this stage. They stay stuck in mediocrity, and they stay there forever judging. We're not about that. We're growth-minded, positive people, and just have that, act from that, be that. And again, people will connect with you far easier. Again, when you've got that energy, that enthusiasm, makes something to connect. It will make a whole world of difference. So yeah, just wish you the best of luck, guys.
Yeah, absolutely, guys. But yeah, it was a pleasure seeing all of you today. Inshallah, we'll all catch up next week. Try and get a bit of work done, but look, I get it. If you want to chill this month, fine. Don't, because while fasting we can of course work as well, but if you want to focus more on ibadah, that's fine, I understand. But I would definitely recommend just staying true to the action steps, not letting the momentum go, even if it's a bit every day. That's all that matters. But yeah, inshallah, guys, we'll catch up next Saturday. Assalamu alaikum.
Bye-bye.